Angola, 1988. UNITA forces, supported by the South Africans, have seized the nearby village of Sabiwanga. Angolan government forces, supported by Cuban volunteers, are preparing a mechanized assault to retake the village. Air support has been called in to soften up the defenders. 2 MiG-23s are on their way to assist. Our tank platoon of T-62s will support the mechanized assault of our infantry by hitting the enemy from the flank. Together we will rout the enemy in no time. Hello there, and welcome to something entirely new on the channel. So those of you who have been following me for quite some time know that I really like the Graviteam tactics games made by the developer of the same name. You also know that I like to play Steel Fury, which I consider to be still the best World War II tank simulator that we have out there. But did you know that Graviteam made a successor to Steel Fury? And that is Steel Armor, Blaze of War, where we have multiple Cold War settings to explore. And here today we have this lovely T-62 tank, one of the 2 playable tanks in this game. Yeah, unfortunately it's just 2, but hear me out, the detail is exquisite. So we have the T-62 to play, and we find ourselves in 1988 in Angola during the Angolan Civil War. We are fighting on the side of the government forces and the Soviets and the Cubans against UNITA forces supported by South Africa. Our mission today is to support an attack on a nearby village held by UNITA forces. And that's what we are going to do. Now, in the previous video, last week, in the Gunner Heat PC video, I asked you to pay attention to how the T-62 is implemented and portrayed in that game. And now you know why, because I'm gonna show you how this old game portrays the T-62, and boy oh boy, prepare your jaw to drop. Because let me just get out of this view here, and we are going back to the view of the commander as a pair of jets are screaming in. They are fast. The tank here I can play from the perspective of any crew member, and I have one tank platoon here at my command that I can actually command. And if I go inside the tank... Oh, what is this all? The interior is modeled, and modeled in detail, I should add. It's really nice looking, and it's functional. For example, I can go into the commander's side here, which is a really nice thing to do. Or I can play as the gunner and then use his sides. Also quite nice. Or maybe I don't want to use his side, maybe I want to use his periscope up here. I can do that. It's really awesome what they did here. It's a shame that there are only 2 playable tanks, the T-62 and the American M60. But both tanks are really modeled in detail, and it's really fun to see what they did here. Let me jump back to the commander, and we are gonna start moving here because we have a job to do. So first of all, there is a road ahead of us here that I'm gonna get onto, and we are then gonna move towards the village of Sabiwanga, where the enemy forces are holding. Our airstrike is here to soften up the enemy force before a mechanized force from the west will attack, and we will support them from the north. Let's turn onto this road, and I will tell my tanks to go into a column formation, and we are gonna move down this road. And the AI is actually not bad, because the tank in front of us will not attempt to go and join us at the rear of the formation. He'll just recognize that we are moving in a column and he'll stay in front. And the jets, yeah, they are busy softening up the enemies. That's really awesome to see. And pay attention to the sound delay, by the way. Did you see the jet fire? There's the sound of it. Really nice. Really nice indeed. So, before you cream your pants and rush to buy this game, hold on. This game does have some shortcomings, and I'll go into those a bit later in the video. Once we finish this edition, we'll take a look at the content that is available, because, yeah, that's one of the shortcomings. The amount of content that is available. On the other hand, I don't think this game is too expensive. It should be quite cheap by now. So, treat yourself, I guess. But, as I said, wait until later in the video. I'll show you what you can expect from this. A jet is screaming in and... oh boy. Gun runs. Really nice. Really, really nice. If we take a quick look at the situation here, yeah, we can see that the mechanized force is already on the move from the west. They're moving forward. We are coming here from the north, down this road. Let me turn on these unit symbols, they're a bit easier to read. The jets are strafing the village here. We have some air spotters nearby. They have called in the jets. And what we are playing here is essentially a little tutorial / demonstration scenario where we learn about airstrikes. And this does look quite nice, doesn't it? The African bush here. There, shots out, and there's the sound. It's nice to see that the game has sound delay properly modeled. Looks like there's some anti-aircraft fire chasing the jets, but it doesn't seem to be too powerful. The jets are just way too fast. There's another one screaming in. Shots out. And another one. Really awesome. Once we commence the attack, I think I'll conduct the attack from the gunner's perspective in this tank. Because yeah, I can play as any member of this crew. I can play as the loader and operate the heavy machine gun here. I can play as the commander, assign targets, give orders, all that nice stuff. I can play as the gunner and shoot things. Or I can play as the driver and actually drive the tank, which is also quite fun. And nicely modeled with the brake levers and everything. Okay, we have made it to our initial position here. We are gonna turn off the road now. And we are gonna change into a line formation. We are gonna wait to start our attack in this field here. We'll hide in here. Okay, let's stop. And let's make sure that my other tanks are actually in formation with me. Order them to do that. Let's wait a moment for the jets to complete their attack runs. We don't want any friendly fire if we can help it. Oh, the jet just fired a missile. Really nice. Let's take a look. Okay, looks like the infantry is basically almost at the objective. I think we should join in now. Let's start moving. All tanks forward. Yeah. All 3 tanks are on the move. We're going in. The jets. I hope they're doing a lot of damage to the enemies. Move a bit faster. Situation. The infantry is still advancing. I think they are almost there. They will disembark from their APC soon. maybe the jets are finished. Oh boy, that sounded nasty. Okay, let's go inside our tank here. I close my hatch. Now look, I can look at the periscope here, which is really nice. But I'll now switch to the gunner's perspective. And from the gunner's perspective, let me do a few things here. First of all, I want to enable the stabilizer for the gun. The T-62 has a very powerful and really good stabilizer, which is quite awesome. And I want to start loading high explosive rounds. Load up, load! Load it. Let's go into the sight. Illuminate the sight. I have two magnifications. I have this magnification and this magnification. Or you know, I can switch up to the gunner's periscope here. This helps to spot enemy infantry at close range. But you know what? Let's go back to the gunner's side for now. If we should encounter enemy infantry, I want to be able to blast them accurately with my main gun. Now that I have a high explosive round loaded. We should soon be upon the enemy infantry. And to my right, from where my own mechanized infantry is advancing, I hear a lot of shooting. So be prepared for a tough fight. I'm leaving the range settings at 0 for now, because I expect that in this bush terrain here we will be fighting at very close range. I see a fire ahead. Enemy APC. Where? Go a bit faster. I see buildings there. There's an enemy APC indeed. Stop the tank. Or go slow, go slow. That's fine, that's fine. A bit faster. Fire. Got him. It's on fire. The high explosive round can deal with a BMP. No problem. Let's put down suppressive fire with our coax. Just saturate the bush in front of us. There will be enemy infantry hiding in trenches. So it's good to pin them as much as we can. Enemy infantry soldiers can be incredibly dangerous if you get too close to them. Push through these trees. Shots are being fired. Oh boy, what the hell is this? Stop. An APC drove into me. Well, that was not planned. That's a friendly APC, I think. Keep moving. We have made our way inside the village, it seems. Or at least to the edge of it. There's something in front of us here. It's receiving a lot of machine gun fire. Okay, the APC has been knocked out. That's not good. I think we have infantry here in front of us. Is there a trend? Yeah! Fire! Did you see that guy stand up to run? There's a trench right in front of us. Load. Let's fire into this trench. Let's go to this periscope view. Gun reloaded. Enemy infantry over here this way. Let's just put down a bunch of suppressive fire. Oh, there was a tank here that got knocked out. I hope it wasn't one of mine. Actually, might have been. That's not an APC that was knocked out, it's a damn tank. Okay, looks like the enemy is running away. We have completed the mission. You see a countdown timer up ahead, up on the top of the screen. That's counting down. The loader's engaging with the heavy machine gun. Gunning down fleeing enemy infantry. Let's shoot into the village back there. And here too the T-62's gun is doing this thing where it has to be raised up to fire. Which is really nice. And there we go. That was this short little mission done. And, well, this screen, if you know Graviteam tactics, this screen is familiar to you. We see the casualties. We see that Angola, this is our forces, lost 14. And the South Africans lost 36. 10 wounded on our side, 5 wounded on theirs. We lost 3 vehicles, they lost 2 vehicles. They lost a tank actually, so I guess that tank was theirs. Nice. And if I click on statistics here, guess what we'll see? Yeah, just as you know it from Graviteam Tactics, we see the battlefield at the end of the fight. And we see that there are actually still a lot of enemy soldiers over there. Wow, I'm surprised that the mission even ended. Well, I guess the village has been emptied of enemies, so that's why. That's why this ended. But we see that there's also some enemy infantry here. I guess they're running away. Yeah. The enemy infantry has been broken. Okay, let's go through the forces on the battlefield. This here is our tank. Did we get hit? We did. Something hit us. 23mm. What hit us? What fired a 23mm shell? 23mm. It did not penetrate, of course. The angle was also quite bad. I'm just curious, what was here that could fire 23mm? I guess we'll find out in just a moment. Let me have a quick look. My tank systems are intact, none of my personnel is wounded, so we are quite alright. We still have all our things, that's fine. We killed 1 APC, that's about it. Nice. My other 2 tanks are still alive as well. Here's one of them, he forged ahead a little bit. Did he get hit by anything? No. But he also did not kill anything himself, okay. And my other tank is over here where all this enemy infantry is. Ah, that's dangerous, dude. That's dangerous. Did you get hit? No, you did not. You are perfectly fine. And you did contribute. You killed 4 enemy soldiers and nailed a tank or self-propelled gun. Really nice of you. Now, there are plenty of Angolan forces here. We have these APCs that are advancing. These are just, you see, BTR-60s. Absolutely adequate for representing this conflict here. BRDMs, this one was knocked out by something, by a 100mm shell. So I guess the enemies did have some kind of tank, we'll come to that. We see more enemy APCs and infantry squads. This APC has been knocked out, most of the infantry squad is dead. 73mm, I guess this was knocked out by the enemy BMP. This one looks to be knocked out as well. So our forces lost plenty of APCs in this assault. Here's one that's still active. Received a bunch of hits, but it seems to be okay. Also from a 23mm something. Another one is on fire. By the way, these are the Angolan soldiers. Or maybe I should rather say the Cuban soldiers that intervened in this conflict on the side of the Angolan government, together with Soviet advisors. This one was hit by a 100mm round. It will be interesting to see what fired those rounds. A friendly APC knocked down this little hut here, drove right through it. And this one was knocked out behind me. Hit by a whole bunch of 23mm something. And penetrated. All that stuff penetrated. This thing has just been messed up from that direction. So we will see some kind of 23mm weapon over there. But I guess seeing all that friendly infantry, that has been knocked out by now. We have another APC here. Has been hit hard by 23mm. But it's still okay. It did receive some damage. We have more friendly infantry. I think these guys, yeah, these are the air spotters actually that I left behind back here. They come with their own APCs and of course the air spotter infantry, and they called in those two MiG-23s. My tank platoon we have already taken a look at. Now we are going to take a look at the South African forces. Let's see what they had. They had South African trackers, but that squad is dead. You see that they were actually really entrenched. And I guess, is that the trench that I fired into? My tank is over there, I think. No, here. I think I fired into this trench just in front of me here. Yeah, I fired into this trench. And as usual with the Graviteam games, the ground is deformable. So if I fire a shell into the ground, it leaves a nice big crater. And trenches are actually dug into the ground. That's just really amazing. What did they have here? Milan ATGM. Oh, that's dangerous. Where's the weapon? I guess it has been knocked over or something. Looks like there has been some kind of impact here, or maybe a tank drove over it. What else was there? Just plenty of infantry. These guys got wrecked. Some infantry here. There are still 11 of them able to run away in this squad. Aha, there we have it. 23mm ZU anti-aircraft guns. It was these things. So one of those rounds hit my tank. I'm quite surprised that only one round hit it, because these things are quite fast shooting. Let's see, the enemy had tanks as well. T-55. So yeah, the T-55 that I saw burning here was actually an enemy tank. They had one T-55 and it got hit hard by multiple things. By many things actually. Also seems to be... Oh, you know what? 23mm. I think the MiGs are carrying 23mm cannons. So all those gun runs that we saw. Looks like this tank suffered some of that. But that's not what killed it. We have a 100mm round impacting the frontal armor here and causing a fire. Reached the ammunition, caused a fire. We have another impact here in the side. That went in at this angle and went back into the engine, hit some ammunition as well and disabled the turret. But it was this round through the front plate that finished it off. Really nice. And they had a BMP. Is this the BMP that I nailed? It might be. If I look at it like this, I was coming from... where? From here. Yeah, that might be the BMP that I shot at. Let's take a look at this thing. Let's hover over this. Destroyed, killed. This might have been me. Yeah, this is a high explosive shell. I guess this is my kill here. Yeah, okay. So somebody, 100mm round, hit it from the front and did take out engine, transmission, radio and battery, but it was my shell that sealed the deal here. Delivered at 337 meters, detonated and then destroyed the track, the engine, started a fire because it hit some ammunition, the transmission was destroyed, the radio, the fuel tank, the battery, the chassis, just everything is gone on this thing. Some of the crew managed to get out just briefly before either being gunned down by friendly infantry or, you know, succumbing to the explosion of the vehicle. By the way, look at these guys. There's another anti-aircraft gun over here with some friendly infantry creeping up on it. Really nice. More enemy infantry that was killed, more enemy infantry that was killed in these trenches. The other anti-aircraft gun. What else did they have? An 82mm gun. Where is it? A recoilless gun? Or I guess the camera is centering on one of the operators that ran away. That's possible. Yeah, looks like that guy really made his legs work and ran off the battlefield. But that means that somewhere inside the village they did have an 82mm gun. Just don't know where. Probably wrecked that thing. And still plenty of forces back here. It's a shame that we didn't get to push to those. Yeah, here we have one of those guns, by the way. Recoilless rifle. Quite powerful. Can absolutely devastate my tank. Here's another one. Yep, really nice. Really, really nice. A short battle, but a really nice battle. And yeah, as you have seen, fighting in this terrain, in the bush, with such limited lines of sight can be quite a challenge. But we did get to blow up in BMP, so that's nice. Now, that was this mission. Let me show you what else you can expect from this game. Let's go into the main menu. And here we have the main menu. And we are now gonna come to the shortcomings of this game. And the shortcomings really are in this department. The available missions, you see them here. So you have 2 training missions where you learn how to drive and how to target things. But no targets are shooting back here, so that's a little bit bad. And then you have a bunch of sometimes short, sometimes long scenarios. Scenario about artillery, a scenario with the M60, another with the T-62, the airstrike mission that we just played, and so on. Just a few scenarios. On top of that, you have the battle editor, where you can create your own battles on the battlefields available in this game. Same thing that you know from the Graviteam Tactics games, essentially. And we have the campaigns. They are really the heart of this game. And the campaigns, I can absolutely see the replayability in these, because I did not expect this. I expected this game to be a collection of single missions, just like Steel Fury was. But this game is actually a combination of Graviteam Tactics and Steel Fury in a Cold War setting. These campaigns play just like Graviteam Tactics campaigns. I started this campaign just to see what it's about and played 1 turn. And it really just plays like Graviteam Tactics. You can move units around in the tactical phase here, set up battles, and then you get to fight those battles in real time. And while you fight a battle in real time, you are in control of one of the tanks on the battlefield, one of the M60s or T-62s. Now, you don't have in the battle the big bird's eye strategy game perspective. You only have the perspective from the crew member that you're playing as. But you can access the map and you can give orders to units just like you would in a Graviteam Tactics game. Just like that. And that's what I didn't expect. And that's, I think, what introduces a great amount of replayability to this game. Because even if you play one campaign for the second time, it will not play out the same way. Definitely not. And you can play as any tank. So maybe you decide to play the campaign as the platoon commander for this tank platoon. Then you play the campaign again as the platoon commander for a completely different tank platoon. You can select which one you want to play. And the scenarios, the campaigns available, they are the Khuzestan Offensive, the Iran-Iraq War of 1981. There we have 2 campaigns that we can play. One as the Iranians and one as the Iraqis. And depending on which side you choose, you get to play the American M60 tank or the Soviet-built T-62 tank. Then we have Afghanistan in 1984, where you're playing as the Soviets against the Mujahideen. We have a Basra scenario in the Iran-Iraq War of 1986, where once again we can play as one of the 2 sides. Or we have Operation Hooper in Angola 1988, where we are playing as the Angolan government forces against the South African supported UNITA forces. So basically what we just did. That's the content available in this game, and that really is one of the shortcomings. You see, there's not as much content here as you're maybe used to from the Graviteam Tactics games. there is a limited amount of campaigns and scenarios, and I did not find any mods online for this. So this is it really. However, I still think that if you set out to play these campaigns, you will be occupied for quite some time with them, because the AI, let me tell you that the AI does not make things easy. They are dangerous bastards. They really are. They really are dangerous. So, what else is there to show you? You know what? I think I want to show you the M60 tank really quick. Just so that you see what this tank looks like. And then next time when we play this, we'll play a scenario with the M60. And here we are inside the M60 tank. You can see that it too is modeled in quite exquisite detail here. I'm currently playing as the commander. Beneath me down there you have the gunner. Then over here we have the loader. And all the way down there is the driver, down there behind the gun. This tank is actually quite spacious inside, I have to say. We can look through the vision ports here all around us in the commander's cupola. Or, you know, we can look through the commander's periscope here. We can also look through the commander's sight and operate the 50 cal that is mounted inside our turret. Or we can use the rangefinder down here. Looks like we have an enemy APC somewhere. And my gunner is engaging. Let's have a look. Do I see it? I don't. It's a bit too far away. Let me switch over to the rangefinder. This M60 has a stereoscopic rangefinder, where you need to basically align both pictures to dial in the range. Yeah, I think I saw that, so I think I ranged it quite well. Yeah, that was actually a hit. That's the thing, if you're playing as the M60, as the tank commander, your job is to find the range. Find targets and find the range to them. That's your job. Okay, I'm gonna tell my gunner to stop shooting right now. But we have an enemy APC on fire back there. That's nice. We did well. We did really well. Loader? You know what? Load a high explosive round, please. Load it. Isn't that awesome? But maybe you already noticed, you can hear one of the other shortcomings of this game. The localization for the tank crew, regardless if you're playing the T-62 or the American build M60, is only available in Russian. And well, when you're playing the T-62 it's kind of okay. But when you're playing as the American build M60, here in the Gulf War, in the Iran-Iraq War, I don't know, it feels off. But it's a small developer, I guess they just didn't have the resources to produce an English localization for the tank crew. It is a little bit off-putting though. Everything else is quite amazing. Let me switch over to the gunner's perspective. We can see here what the gunner can see inside. Really, really awesome too. We have here the periscope for the gunner. We have the M32 sight. We have here on the left the M105D sight. And over here, that's part... I'm not sure what kind of sight that is, by the way. But we can look through those sights. For example, through this one. That's awesome. What this gunner's sight does not have is a second zoom level. Which is a bit weird, I really have to say. Here we have the view through the periscope and through the backup sight. Still, really, really nice. We can have a look at the loader's perspective, see a bit more of the insides of this tank. Look how spacious it is. Look how much space there is inside. Or, you know, down there the driver. His perspective. With the very weird steering mechanism here. But this too is fun to play as. It's fun to drive. I just turned off the engine to have a bit more quiet here. Let's go back to the commander and let's open up the hatch. Hello. I can also look backwards over my hatch. This is just so amazing. Our loader is taking a peek too. Yeah, enemy APC destroyed in front of us. Really nice. So that was a short overview of Steel Armor Blaze of War. This game, I don't think it's expensive. So if you want to experience this for yourself, go ahead. Prepare to see more of this on the channel. I'm not sure if I will play one of the campaigns. I mean, I will. I'm just not sure if I will do it, you know, in the very near future. But I'm most definitely going to play them at some point. Because the idea of this is just too damn awesome. It really is awesome, and I really, when I see this, when I see what they did here with 2 tanks, I really wish Graviteam would go and produce another tank simulator. Maybe with an improved version of the engine with a bit better graphics. That would be really amazing, I think. And yes, we have 2 tanks that are modeled in exquisite detail inside. But then again, you can start a discussion if that is really necessary or not. Would you rather have more playable tank types, or would you rather have 2 tank types that are modeled with interiors? I think if you were to ask me, I mean, you spend most of the time looking through some periscopes anyway, or through some sights. So I think having more playable tanks, but without modeled interiors, would be something that I would prefer, personally. But when it's there, it's really quite cool to see, and it is quite immersive to see how the crew is animated and everything. And do remember that every crew member can also be killed, and then, well, his role needs to somehow be filled, his loss needs to be compensated for, and then things start to become really challenging. Oh well. So, you know what, before we end, let's take a quick look back at the main menu and the available campaigns. I want to know what you think. These here are the campaigns available in this game. So we have the Khuzestan Offensive, Iran-Iraq War, we have the Iran-Iraq War in the Basra campaign here, we have Afghanistan where the Soviets are fighting the Mujahideen, and we have Operation Hooper in Angola, you know, the Angolan government forces fighting UNITA supported by South Africa. Let me know which one of those campaigns you would like to see first. As I said, I'm not promising that I'll come to do one of these campaigns soon, but I'll play them eventually, and I'm open for your input on which of the campaigns we should play first. Which one would you enjoy watching? Let me know, please. And this has been a short look at Steel Armor Blaze of War. This shall be enough for today. I think next week we will return to Gunner Heat PC to play an M60 mission. And then the next week after we'll play, I think this one here, the single mission where we play as an M60. So that will be quite fun, I think. Alright. As I said, please let me know your thoughts on this. And I hope to see you again next time. Until then, have some really great days and goodbye.